What's up, everybody? This is Enlightened Masculinity. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga and captain of IMC Nation, streaming to you here from San Jose, California, where I live at Base 1 Stoic Temple. It's the first IMC temple, and we have 5 temples right now and growing. Many guys are online right now watching this live, and many will watch the recording or listen to the recording as it's posted on all the podcast apps. Apple, Spotify, Podbean, surprisingly, is very popular, and all kinds of apps, really. Tons of reviews there. So if you're watching the recording there, then leave us a review, find out more about us, and, you know, just all about us. The link is in the description. So I just came back from Bikram, hot yoga. Earlier today, I did jujitsu, and I'm not an athlete like I used to be, so I'm probably going to be hurting when I wake up, but I just had to get some sugar in me. So as soon as I got back, I ate like 3 peaches right there and then drank a coconut water. And so that's why I'm like kind of burping a little bit. So without that, further ado, we'll continue. You know, I was going to just talk about the, what's up, Julie? Pogi, I don't think we met. What's up with you? I was just going to talk about the straight line of IMC Nation, or the straight line of enlightenment. It's a top of mind subject. You know, I think people would pretty much just show up for anything. I've made it my business, literally. Like, I mean, damn, Instagram, they're always cutting you off, like right when I get started. It's fucked up. I'm not going to start it again. But they're missing out. I may start a Facebook or something. What was I saying? Top of mind. Just, you know, whatever I say, I've made it my business to be, yeah, fuck IG. I've made it my business to be like interesting and like always have something valuable to say and be able to say it in a valuable way. I can break down any situation and in a way that, you know, would seem cool and be much cooler than probably a regular person would think about, probably cooler even than you'd think about. Or at least in that moment, I could just like play that. So like, what would be an example? Like, you know, I could bring attention right now to how there's all these people online right now, and you're from a different part of the world, and you're from a different part of the world, and you're from a totally different part of the world. It's so different where you're from, and you've been so many places, and I could just bring attention to like that quality in each of us. Like Johnny Freedom's been everywhere. Marin came from Turkey. Jesse's in New Zealand right now. Arslan was from Romania, came over, went back, came back over, been all over the US. Tony K was in the military and was deployed, and he's in Wisconsin right now. Like, do you all know what Wisconsin is like? Have you ever been there? It's an interesting kind of place, you know. Sean Murray, like everybody, you know, we could bring attention to that sort of thing. So that's just like the skills in communication. There's another thing that could be done, which is a receptivity. There's a way to listen that people don't experience that kind of listening. It's similar to talking. Like if there's some subjects you could talk about that are interesting, or ways of saying things that are super interesting. Like right now, you're listening to me. If your eyes were closed, you'd still be hearing me. But the sounds coming out of my mouth, you know, vocal cords flapping really fast as I'm exhaling, going up and down in my throat box so the pitch changes. And that's like vocal. That's the vocal. But then it's these arbitrary sounds, these vowels and consonants, we call them, in a certain pattern that makes these, quote, words that we call them, which is just this arbitrary pattern of vowels and consonants that we've decided, we've agreed that the word hello is hello. We all agreed that like sound combination is hello. And that hello means what hello means. And so I modulate that. It goes out of my voice. It goes into this microphone technology here, through a bunch of wires, through the air, lands at your device, through the technology wires and stuff again, out the speaker, through the air again, to your ears, where you recognize the reproduced sound pattern, word after word after word, sentence after sentence, paragraph, point after point. Wow. And so just like we can like bring attention to something, like talk about it where it's interesting, we can also listen and pull in an interesting way. There's ways to pull in with that level of interest, that level of commitment. Or anyway, we're going back to the topic because at least it was a topic. I could talk about anything. In fact, I was going to promote this as something like have a conversation with Yogi Chris. A lot of people have asked in various times for like one-on-ones or this or that. And I always refuse. I say, you have to pay to come to do guardian training or to come and do base leader training. That's the only way I'll teach you, is like you come here and Arash gets his cut and I'll get my cut. And, you know, if you have any interest in what I do, which, you know, some of you don't. Who's Matt? Is that Matt Justice? Jeez, that guy, you're coming around. Man, it's going to be a crusade before too long. I tell you what, maybe get him into a base, start a base in Atlanta or anywhere. And, you know, people could like understudy from you and learn like your business and like become, you know, chess pieces on your chessboard. That's how I see the officers. I see the lieutenants as like rooks or like they're like knights. The base leaders are the guardians are rooks. The base leaders are knights. No, they're bishops, rooks and bishops, because they're like similar. But then knights are like the lieutenants, and the kusei are like queens. And then I'm like, I don't know what I'm like this other piece. I don't know what the other piece is. I'm all the pawns combined. I don't know. I'm all 8 of them. You know, anyway. All right. So the topic at hand. Oh man, let me tell you about the private moment. Sheesh. So I did BJJ today. It was nice. They told me if you were on Dragon's Lair this morning, which I think a lot of you are, AZD had you know, brought up BJJ and yoga, because I texted him about this is going to be my last day of BJJ because I'm going to do more yoga. And I only have so much time, dude. It's like 2 hours 45 or 3 hours minimum, the round trip to yoga and shower and then BJJ is like 2 hours, like 5 hours. I did that today. So I'm not going out tonight unless it's like for 45 minutes or an hour, real fast. If someone else is doing it, I'll piggyback on that because I'm just going to work and then lock down. I got some tasks to do. But anyway, what I'm saying is the private moment. Oh man, am I seeing it when I live? I see the 4th wall, which is the preliminary technique to the private moment. I see the 4th wall as I like actually see it, like it's a force field almost. Ring, ring. And there's like light waves that go through it, and it's got like a distance from me. Johnny Freedom gets what I'm saying. No, he's on the phone with something else. Anyway, I see the 4th wall, and it's like there's this thing. It's almost like I have this. It's not quite like another sense. Like we have the sense of smell, sense of sight, sense of touch. It's not quite. It's more like I have another limb. It's like I have a 3rd arm, but it's inside of me. It's a movement inside that there's a change that goes on when I am not thinking about the 4th wall at all. And I end up getting caught and swept up in other people's opinions about what I'm doing. And then there's a 4th wall where it's like, you know what it would be like? It's 2 examples come to mind. Imagine, did you ever see the Christmas Carol? Or the night, what was it called? I think it's called The Christmas Carol with Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge. Did you ever see that? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, forget that example. Or I could quickly say, and then I'll say the other example. It's like the spirit of Christmas or something comes and shows him the life he could have had, and he's like a ghost or something. Shamir saw it, and he's like a spirit that takes him and shows him the life, and they're like up showing his past to him when he was hanging out with so-and-so and he had a crush on Jenny or something. And then they show him, when his parents die or something, and they can't see him. It's like a vision. The parents can't see him. The girlfriend can't see him. They're just right there watching his mistakes where he like cursed her out and he shouldn't have, or he neglected his parents when he shouldn't have or something. And then he regrets it. And it's basically teaching him a lesson about don't be so stingy on Christmas. He's a rich guy that's real penny pinching, and he ends up giving away all his stuff to like orphans or something. I don't know. So the idea that like you're able to watch people, but they can't see you there. You're like invisible. That's how I feel about it. Like it's easy at yoga to do this because everything is so regimented. It's like you're here, they're there. We're all in line at a equal spacing, and a teacher, some far off teacher that if you always look forward, you never even see the person. And so it's like a voice in your head. It's just like telling you what to do. And you can pretend like nobody can see you. Just pretend like you're from Ebenezer Scrooge or whatever. The other example was, I think the movie's called The Time Machine or something. Or maybe I'm seeing several kinds of sci-fi movies that I don't know these movies, but like somehow, let's say a portal opens up and you're able to like watch through the portal your childhood with your dad or something, or you're able to see what's going on in another place in time, like in Washington, D.C. or something. And they can't see you, but you're watching them. So there's like a fourth wall. Like that's how I kind of see it. It's like that. And it goes kind of both ways. So like they can't see me. There's another angle of it that is, I don't know if it's as good. It's kind of different, but I actually literally pretend that I can't see them. And that's a little different. I don't like that one as much because it makes me feel ignorant of what could be going on around me. But the one where I just pretend where they can't see me is also keeps me caught up in paying attention to them. Like, so there's like this yin yang where it's like, I can't see them, they can't see me. But it's not a shying away from it. It's as if I'm in my own portal dimension bubble where I'm right here. They just can't see me because I'm like, it's not that I'm cloaked, it's that I'm time shifted. Or I'm like slightly phase shifted so that it's like I'm here, but they can't see. I don't know if I'm making sense. So yoga practice it's nice. I get a heightened sense of this being near AZD when he's doing it. Or I don't know what he's doing. He's doing whatever he's doing, but I do a lot of things, but among them and like kind of a fundamental, and it's like this, it's kind of a go-to or a baseline is this fourth wall where it's like I'm practicing a private moment. Now I've done like 10 or 11 or 12, I don't know how many private moments. I want to do another one. I'm studying my communing with nature. It's going to be any day now. I'll do the private moment. And so I'm starting to get it a little bit. It's like if you've never done Bikram yoga, like I know Marin's done Bikram, or I don't know, you could pick an activity. I would imagine every activity would be like this. So I don't know, even if it was like squash or even poker or whatever, that if you really did it for like an hour and you did it 12 times, you'd start to gather a pattern. So you'd get a sense about it a little bit. 12 times of doing a new activity, you get a sense about it. And the 12 times doing a private moment, I got this sense about it. It's a thing that I don't know that I really understood it the first, second, or third time or fourth time. And I have noticed that everyone behind me, either they're better than me or they just pick up the private moment way faster because they've already seen so many. What I want to do, I want to ask AZD, I haven't yet. And then I would need a apprentice staff member to do it. We have, I don't know, how many private moments total do you think there's been? Like 30, 40, 50? I'd love if somebody went and clipped out just the private moment part, not the feedback. And because that's like private to the person. And also that's where a lot of the value is for the people who attend those camps, is hearing everyone's feedback. I know I level up when I hear everyone's feedback because I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it from, like Shane Smith this morning. I didn't think of it from that angle. Like from a survival perspective, yeah, Latcha was raising his survival value. It was just so interesting. So that would give people, I mean, I think that would just be so entertaining and see the evolution of people. Anyway, this straight line of IMC, the straight line of enlightenment, it's a big subject. IMC is big, dude, because IMC is the communication skills and techniques, the imagination that goes with it. That's kind of like, it's the quantum ingredients of life, so to speak. Of, well, maybe that's too big a general statement. It's the quantum ingredients of humanity. Is communication. That's how we organize. If we didn't organize, it would be 10 billion individuals, and it would be fucked. At some point, we communicate to align, to compete, to mate, especially to mate. So some say, well, the evolutionists who seem to deny or have not yet heard that we were engineered from aliens seem to believe that the part of our brain that developed linguistics, it came about so rapidly because apparently it came about much sooner, like hundreds of thousands of years before the first records of tools, which is suppressed or whatever. It's like we have history, we have giant skeletons, we have miniature human skeletons, we have pyramids underground, we have pyramids under ice, we have all kinds of stuff that don't let out, which would change all of human history. It would alter everything. But they say that because of the mating game, which is, a woman needs to have communication from a man a lot of times. The man is, maybe she'll go for the top level Achilles or emperor or something without much communication, but really a woman at that level also still needs communication because she's a high level woman typically. And if it's going to be a peasant, I don't know, there's so many dynamics I don't really want to get into with that. But what I'm saying is that men in their striving for mating choice used their mind and applied their creativity outside of like raping bitches and whatever that we don't do. And that's like, but that was obviously something that happened. I'm saying that men that won over women use their intelligence in words. Maybe they use their intelligence to create something or craft something or to train themselves so that they won at something or beat out, like they wanted to be a winner, but they applied their intelligence to be a winner and to win her favor. And the ones that didn't win her favor, they didn't reproduce, and we're not born of them. So we're born of the ones that won her favor. And it was a competition to win her favor. She was protected by her brothers and her fathers and her tribesmen, unless she was just like set loose and became a whore or married up real quick. And she was that commodity, and it was exchanged. And so he had to be the best. Okay, so communication, very important. And you're so channelized into your habits of communicating, your patterns that came to you from upbringing. Now, there's some higher level people here. Jaime Galliena, Don Aroma, has been living in a base for nearly a year with other high level IMC guys. There is some sort of evolution in Jaime and his ability to communicate and negotiate situations with other alpha men that is more evolved. He's developed the language in a certain context. It has evolved in that direction. So where was his starting place may be different for everybody. But that's an attribute that makes him, you would notice if you were living with him, if you took a weekend trip with him, how much more refined and calibrated and considerate he was. Not weak, also because he's IMC, so he's been living with IMC men. He's not going to be a pleaser. He's just going to be a really accommodating, friendly alpha guy that you would travel with or you lived with or whatever. That would be the base. What college does our new student play for again? Football. Yeah, Villanova. Yeah. I knew Fernando would get it. Okay. So, there are a lot of guys here, higher level. Marin has worked on his language so much with copywriting and journaling, and I'm sure a lot of guys have to a large degree. You're starting to get control, or you have more control, or more, let's maybe not say control, but like you have more say in what you say. You've changed yourself inside to some degree so that your communication has been changed. You may at some points be triggered into some childhood experience or some other, like when you get angry or something, and then your dad's voice comes out, or even your mom's voice comes out. It's like how, like that was soldered into the system, and you want to change those patterns because that's creating your reality. How people react and respond to how you talk has gotten you the life that you have right now. It will continue to build and organize your life. And so much of this in IMC Nation, because as we strive for excellence, let's say multiple relationships is a very interesting target, and people would think it's about sex, and it's not that it's not about sex. It's just there's a fountain of wisdom that comes from that level of presence and engagement with life. You have less time to pull inwards to yourself, and you have less room for error when it comes to doubting yourself. And so if you keep it consistent, like I've had multiple women for a long while, even it's not the same women, but so you're consistently in the game like that. Like I always tell all the IMC guys, do not take yourself out of the game. Like some brothers that I know that live in another country in Europe, they take themselves out of the game, and it's not good. And you won't utilize what Arash is teaching you, nearly even half of it, not even 25%. You got to be involved with females and interacting, because there's a richness in the interaction with female that has this kundalini intertwined in it. It's this psychosexual agenda, this motive that you have that she has also in a different way. And you're playing those energies off of each other, and it's evolutionary. You create in solving the riddle of how to seduce her, and her, you map each other out. Now you become infused, like AZD was going over that dropout, the guy that was a fitness trainer, he was a dropout. He's infused with this woman. Monogamous people, they get infused with each other, and where they know how to do it with each other, but they've lost perspective with the outside, and it gets kind of warped or whatever. And that's where you see like toxic, and they're just like talking to each other in weird ways and have these weird behaviors around each other. Like if you ever noticed, like grandma and grandpa, they had weird ways of like dismissing each other or something. If you ever had the pleasure of knowing, your grandparents like that. So you create, you're getting like how you're talking, and we have, when you go for that higher level experience, like the multiple relationships, and it's not just about getting multiple women, because if you're, let's say, public about it, I don't want to say public like meaning I'm like displaying it or whatever, but let's say one of my girls messaged me that she met a woman on a plane flight out of here, and that woman came to befriend her and whatever, and then later came across my picture because she shared who I was, came across our group shot when we were at Santana Row, and the football player was there, and Oways was there, and whatever. We have it printed right there. It's right here. I'll show you. So the woman had sent my girl my post. She was creeping on my social media, I guess. And so this picture. Okay, so that was the picture that she had sent my girl. And it had some like hating bullshit to say. Womanize, and which we do. It's just you have a wrong definition for that word. And they're always going out. She said, I don't know, this is bullshit. He's going to ruin your soul tie to him. It was just some nonsense bullshit. But if it's known publicly, quote, publicly, let's say just in her life, that she's with you and you're in a multiple relationship thing, there's going to be a lot of suppressive people in her life that will give her trouble. And then she's not going to know how to handle it. She will try her best, maybe, hopefully, and probably bring you back some chaos as a result that you'll now have to sort out with her in her mind about it. The outside world will give her all kinds of doubts or whatever, or just give her inner turmoil from not being able to handle a suppressive environment, and she'll come to you, and you got to teach her how to handle it and have her go back and do it, and that's how she gets stronger and whatever. so you bring order to her sphere. You bring order to your sphere. If your parents knew, if your employer knew, if your colleagues knew, if your other woman knew, like there's going to be a lot of people that may disagree at first, and you'll at some point either kick them out or you have them agree. And so that's through communication. The agreement happens. And when the agreement happens, and an agreement is on levels, people may agree, but not fully agree, you know? So you got to like fully get agreement. That's what like a solid relationship is there's so much depth of agreement that movement becomes frictionless because you don't have to check in or anything like that. And that's not even the frame of it, but I think I've made the analogy clear. So I am saying that when you're reaching for the high level experience in life, what was I saying right before that? Oh man, it was communication, blah, 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 straight line patterns, creating. Oh, it's right there. Yeah, you create what you speak, and you know, you have patterns from, or you're changing yourself inside and triggers and blah, blah, blah. And well, I think it was probably this. I don't know. It's like the next logical thing I see in my mind is that the higher level you go, the more errors will wreak havoc in what you're trying to create. There's less room for error, less room for errors as you, ascend. And so it really needs to be a complete inner transformation. You can't get away with partly knowing something. Like let's say I knew a real good song on guitar, and you came over and we were hanging out, and at some point I played the song and it was really good, like jaw-dropping good. And but then I want to try to perform that song somewhere, even on just an open mic night. There's a whole process of taking the guitar, calling ahead so that you're on the roster or whatever, taking the guitar, waiting your turn, performing without necessarily warming up in front of an audience. And it's like the same song as it may not come out the same way because it's a different level. You've been amplified now and you have a lot more attention on you, and it's maybe not necessarily your environment or whatever. So you need a lot of mindset, a lot of order between your home environment and the world so that you can deliver yourself as good as you do at your peak when you're lecturing or when you're with your girls or when you're doing whatever that activity that you get into the flow state, the sweet spot, and you're the best at. How to bring that class, that level of achievement, that skill level, that frequency of skill level, how to bring that out into the world, in your game, in your life, and everything in between. So it's the social skills of that, really, because you're chained everywhere in between. There's inhibitions, limitations of what you'll say, even just lack of freedom, lack of awareness of what could be said. Like a salesman would know, a totally different line that you could say to the person may get a totally different result, totally different response. So I think the attraction here has so much to do with, let's say, AZD and multiple women and for a long time and the old player's lifestyle that he put out there. So a lot of people come here for the women. That's like the attraction. And then as you start learning it, if you're intelligent, like I know I'm intelligent. I know Matt just is intelligent. I know Marin is very intelligent. These are the guys that I know are very, very intelligent. Who else is on? Everybody has levels of intelligence for sure. I'm just being honest with the intelligence that I have perceived through communication and whatever. Everybody has a lot of intelligence here. They're not dumbasses for sure. They're far from dumbasses. But Matt and Marin, I've definitely noticed, are very intelligent, and I'm very intelligent. And from my perspective, when you start learning AZD, it's so wise, man. It's got depth where when you hear the teachings, it rings true on levels. Like you can think about it later and later and later again. And it's like you've worked out your own thoughts about what you could have done in different social situations or how you could have influenced or what you were wrecking yourself on the inside because of your inner dialogue, which is like a communication also. And you fix your state of mind and you shift out of it and you see better alternatives and you chew on that mentally for a while, and then you get better. And you see that somehow that is related to the multiple relationships and the level of game. And okay, so if you desire that, if that's really a karmic pull on you, a karmic string on your heart and your balls and your fucking every chakra, your mind, as you peer deeper into it, it continues to be lots of mindset, lots of imagination, lots of tips and tricks and games you do with your mind and imagination and wording, lots of references of text communications, phone call communications, dialogues, sometimes with students or whatever. And that's what it is. It's a bunch of communication and imagination that frees you up, and you start to, if you're in the game, you'll start to experience some results, some changes, how you interacted with mom, dad, girlfriend, son or daughter, job. There'll be some shift, and you'll perceive and experience the value of communication when you get a different response from the people that you've always gotten that old response from. You're like, holy fuck, it wasn't even that difficult. All I needed was some different words, and I got a different result. And to get different words, I needed a different mind, because the mind was the words. I had an inner experience and I chose these words, and I was always getting that resistance from the person or that whatever. And when you experience some of these shifts and you're like, wow, it's so ethereal. It's so in the air. It was just somebody's words transferred through the technology to my brain, and that translated later at a later date and time and place to get a different result in life that brought me such a gratification, because we become black, white, and gray and mundane with our life. And when you start getting different results, you learn a skill, and it's like you get it's like I learned this choke and I get it in jujitsu, and I tap the guy and I'm like, did you just give it to me? And he's like, no, I didn't give it to you. And I believe him. Like, I just believe him. Like, wow, I was that good with it, huh? It's like, I didn't even squeeze as soon as I slapped it on. And it's like, as soon as you feel the skill work, you're like, wow, $97 for a product, huh? Dang, that value was priceless. That connection I had with grandma in that conversation. Whoa, I'd never experienced that level of connection with grandma. And it's like all through just some conversation skills, maybe a couple sound bites I pulled, and okay. So then you get a better experience of life. Now you get hungry for that, and you start creating more of those experiences with more different kinds of people in your life. You start, and you see some people are unwilling to have those experiences with you. They're too suppressive. You'll come across that on this straight line of IMC enlightenment. You'll need to get rid of suppressive people or handle them somehow, but it ends up almost always being more of a heartache and headache than it's worth. The best thing to do is get them on Dragon's Lair, and if they won't join, or if they're a girl, let's say, then the best thing with a girl is she has to be seduced and be in love with you, and then she'll change. If she's not seduced and in love with you, she doesn't want to change. She's just going to debate you like you're her fucking brother or something. So she got to fall in love. And if she's not like in love or some serious lust about you, then that's your next task. It's not to fix her. Now, a lot of my flaws is I actually seduce women by like fixing them psychologically, not like I'm seeking weak women in any way, because they're not. They have a lot of strength, and I direct it in a certain way so that their strength can shine, but also they stay soft and they don't get taken advantage of by the world. But what was I saying? Well, anyway, as you get more and more experiences, better experiences, because you changed out your language and changed out how you communicate, you will notice that sometimes you want to have a better result than you're able to make. Like, you want to say the right thing. Maybe you even know the right thing to say. You do. but you don't want, you emotionally don't want to say it. Or you're in a certain emotion that you can't even think of the right thing to say. You know you could handle this better. You know maybe you've heard the handling for it, but it's not coming out right now, and you flub it up. You know what I mean? Fuck it up. So there's levels to these things. You end up destroying what you were trying to create by not knowing how to handle it, because you were learning tricks that didn't come naturally to you. You're learning a whole different skill set that's separate from the patterns of your life. And you get almost two different results. The results when you're in a good state of mind and ready to communicate that way or this way or whatever. And then there's the results you get from the old way of doing it. And so you got to upgrade all elements, all aspects of your being. Relationships, dealing with money, business, work, everyday workout, family, food, your relationships with everything, because that's part of your mindset. If you don't readdress it and reevaluate your relationships to everything, then you're just bringing your baggage to the present time of however you past evaluated it, which probably has a lot to do with other people's evaluations of it. So you got to really evaluate, and that's quite a thing. Now, you don't have to do that by yourself. It'll happen naturally. That's just what's going to happen as you apply this stuff more and more, and you allow it and encourage it to bleed into all aspects of your life. Yes, there will be suppressive people. You need to handle shit. It might hiccup and just, some turbulence in some processes of your life, but then you bring more order to it, and the effort is worth it because you were relying on someone else's order before you reevaluated it, readdressed it, And so as you do this, there's the straight line of enlightenment where more and more comes under your control and under your say-so. But then when you have more responsibility and more is under your control, again, you ascend in power, there's less room for error. So when you make mistakes, it really just man, imagine you're real pressed for time because you're such a busy guy, because you're so valuable. Everybody, they want the coaching session with you, and you have that class, and you got to answer some this or that and travel to this location. You're on time. But one day your girl breaks up with you and you get depressed and you don't want to, you're half an hour late. It fucks up everything. So less room for error. But if you're loose with your time and it's just like, I got to do that thing in the afternoon and tonight I have that thing sometime, I got to do it. You're at a low level of responsibility and there's more room for error, If you want to ascend, you take responsibility. Like I said, in the Dragon's Lair Telegram group, I posted this. I can show you. I mean, I'm proud of it, and it's not me. Very few of these stats are me, like almost none, less than 1% are me. But I led it. Okay. New social media stats started 79 days ago. So about 11 weeks. We started with 0 TikTok followers and 0 TikTok views and 0 TikTok likes. So 11 weeks later, less than 3 months, total followers, 32,000. We have several accounts, just organic. Total likes, 467,000 to our videos. IMC Nation hashtag went from 0 views 11 weeks ago to 4.8 million views on TikTok. Didn't pay for any of it. Hashtag Arashdi Bazaar went from 0 views to 1.9 million views. Then on taking some of those TikTok videos and putting them on Instagram, just organically, we didn't pay. We only got 184 followers, and but our top 5 posts, we had 5 posts that went really well. They got a total of 97,000 views, which is nice on an account of 100 people. 6,400 likes total amongst those 5 videos. Pretty good. That's all reach. That's organic reach. That's people that hadn't seen hashtag IMC Nation before. They found it because we hashtagged other things and put nice songs on it. 533 shares, a lot of exposure. 1,200 saves, a lot of saves, right? And so this is all in an effort to grow Dragon's Lair, which we have clicks. So we have links that for the guys, they have called affiliate links to grow Dragon's Lair and get signups. So we had 2,095, so about 2,100 clicks and only 6 signups. So we got to improve our fucking conversion page. But those are the stats. And that's nice. That's in the last 11 weeks. I'm like kind of proud of that. Maybe, some people are like, expert at this stuff. Redistribute as YouTube shorts, more organic reach than Instagram. Yeah, for sure. We discovered that when one of our TikTok accounts got shadow banned, one of the guys that had more of the followers. There's basically 2 TikTokers that are doing really well. And his account got shadow banned for 3 days. So I told him post on my YouTube, and he posted like 3 or 4 shorts, and they all got a couple thousand views. And, probably he got some affiliate link clicks or whatever. Like I said, I don't do much of it because I'm on my phone all day communicating, and I see that I could, master that craft or whatever, and I'd rather someone else do it. And I do it organically. Like, I'm going to give him a bonus because he did well. Him and the other guy that did really well on TikTok, I'm giving him a little bonus. But the idea is that they get sales, and that's their bonus. They get fucking paid when they get sales. And so they should be communicating. They do the communication where they get hundreds of comments on these videos. And I've trained them to, for this comment, say this comment, say that, this, that. And yeah, I know it's going to take a long time for them to figure, really get the hang of it. But I'm available, and I want to help because I benefit from it also. And with that skill, you could build a whole troop of people that you got signed up to Dragon's Lair and free yourself from your day job. You get residual commission. You keep working at it, keep posting on TikTok and YouTube. You can just free yourself from whatever the fuck you're doing and like piggyback on this movement. And in the meantime, you can pay for your own training and come up in the ranks. I think it's a brilliant idea. And anyway, so those stats, what was I bringing about? I want to wrap this up. Straight line, as you bring more order to your life, you get suppressive people and you may drop off. Those people may be too important to you and you don't want to ruin that relationship. So you'd rather skip out on IMC. It was fun while it lasted. A lot of people have done that. You may struggle through it for some time and not want to leave IMC, and you end up having to kick the person out of your life or try to live a double life, which will eventually result in this fork in the road where you either go with them or go with IMC and lose them. And do that with many people in your life, revamp your life, integrate your lifestyle, become accountable and therefore responsible for your lifestyle more and more. And eventually you become qualified to achieve either a rank because of your astounding behavior, even as a lone wolf, like BC, like Matt Justice, like Monster and Marin, or you become qualified to live in a base because of your level of responsibility and integration of your life. You couldn't be living a multiple personality life and basing up. It would be probably pretty difficult. The closest thing to that is the pickup artists that like kind of have an alter ego or whatever. And then we all kind of have an alter ego. That's like part of the technology here of the mind and imagination that helps us shift out of our patterns and create habits with new patterns that have more of the success that we're looking for. We shift and we create the alter ego and we become the alter ego because this ego is just one alternative ego that we've chosen. We've just become stuck to it. This is an alter ego to that ego. So we reshape. And, so now you're really far down on the straight line because there's somebody on TikTok that signed up for Dragon's Lair. So he never saw AZD or IMC, watched a video because he saw a hashtag, communicated with whoever made that video, and he reached out to the guy, talked him into signing up for Dragon's Lair. He joined Dragon's Lair, or he clicked on the affiliate link or something. And here he is. Now what's he going to do? He studies Dragon's Lair until he learns all these communication techniques, enough that it benefits him. Usually in the first month, if he studies a bunch of lectures, he'll get something. And then in his life, he'll feel better, act different, make better decisions, see some good results. He'll want to stick around unless he's a low responsibility chump, just pussy ass, and then he'll leave. And then he should go. And that's a surprisingly high proportion of men. You might be surprised. It's just like, man, why didn't IMC blow up? Because men suck out there. They're just like real bad. They're heads up their ass. They are in a cloud of shit and they can't see past their own fucking hand. So they stick around and they get a bunch of benefits and they stick around more. Eventually you're going to sign up for advanced training and then they're like, wow, that's like a new level of change. And again, it's the benefits and benefits and benefits. And maybe they get a dialogue with AZD at some point and it's like, wow, that was reshaping of my opinion about something. The way he paused or the way he reworded what I said, or the way he responded or asked this question, and it activated this part of my mind. I remember what it was like coming from the mundane normie world as an excellent normie. I was an excellent normie. I was state champion wrestler, All-American. Like, I had a degree in engineering and a master's degree in engineering, and I was working on my PhD degree in engineering, and I was like super norm-y. I was extraordinary in some things also, and they were hidden, like how I used drugs and how I taught myself the guitar and a lot of other skills also that were a normal, predictable response to normie conditioning. It was almost normie to do those things. I just did them excellently. I mean, I learned those. I was excellent at that. Grew my own weed, sold over $1 million as just like an engineering student, and not well connected either. I had no social skills. I was just that good of a businessman with it. Everybody came to me, even though I was like weird. Because when I first came to IMC, I was hella weird, man. Hella tight, even though I was real loose as a yogi. And so straight line. So they're in Dragons, though. They have all these benefits. They have this conversation with AZD at some point, or join IMC Brothers, and there's little steps along the way. They get some dialogue, like with Marin or myself, or whoever's hosting a stream, and they make that commitment for a higher ticket thing, and they get that higher ticket value exchange, and they get those benefits, and then they want to come in person. They get tested out on that level. Nobody's really qualified to be in a base until they come in person. It's very, very difficult. I don't know if anybody is right now in a base that has not come in person. Zay is the only one. Zay is in a base and he's never been here in person. But he has been on staff for 2 years, and he's, highly affiliated with the Black Panthers and with the IMC Base 3 projects and everything for a long time. He's been around, been consistent. So that's one guy, and out of 26 or 27 guys that are based up right now in 5 different bases, he's the only one that did not come in person before he based up. Yeah. No. Newberry. There's 2. Newberry had not been in person to a camp. He moved into base 2 the month that he started coming in person, and now he's in person for every camp. So 2 guys. So it's rare. But that's along the straight line here, or in the Crusade path. Now, the Crusade path allows, it's afforded a possibility of like being at a distance and investing in IMC projects and people, and kind of steering the direction and the evolution and integrating oneself at a high level, introduction at a high level of, the operations of what's going on. And still, there's a lot of growth to be had on these communication lines and how to handle people and alpha men in these situations. And that's part of your evolution, and you're switching out of your mind and the language that you use, and your ideas and creativity, and your what's this word? Just your maneuvering with the social situation, all being underneath the rank of the founder. And so we all have this like loyalty that we don't want to fuck up. Like, all conflicts are resolved in base 1. We don't have conflicts anymore. But I'm wondering if Fernando's still on. He is. Wow. Guardian Fernando graces my podcast with his presence. Yeah. What's up? So we used to have conflicts. Fernando rarely had any conflict. I had a lot of conflicts with Sultan, and sometimes with Demigod and whatever. And we just want to fix it, because I don't want like AZD to come in like dad or big brother or something and like try to fix it, or say, because I'm not going to like it either, the way he's going to do it. It's going to be, and I've learned that really I'm older. I should fix it. If I can't fix it, then it's my problem. Then it's my fault, kind of thing. And we take responsibility, and then take responsibility. Everybody takes responsibility. Now we don't have any fights. There's no arguments even. There's maybe some disagreements that get resolved pretty fucking maturely, like in a way that would be like, almost like if you saw a man come off of, like, he did the MMA fight, he did the championship fight, and when he's done, because it's a high level fight and it's really difficult, when he's done and he talks into the mic and he's like, he catches his breath, he talks real smooth and articulate. He has like great delivery. And it's like, dude, that guy's like all the way present right now. He's not like fumbling his words and saying dumb shit or basic shit or whatever. Like he's there. He like rarely it happens though. And so it's kind of like that where it's like, because inside when you don't get your way, sometimes it feels like you want to fucking just Hulk smash, you know? But on the outside, when there's this like control and navigation, or somehow the translation, like it gets handled inside, surrendered to, and the voice box and the words, and I control what goes out, and I do it intelligently in the right way that diffuses the energy or channels it in the right way. I handle it better. Man, that's quite an evolution. It's like it's in the blind spot for people. They've never even seen it. They don't know how it goes. So they mismeasure it. They don't know how to measure this experience because it's just out of their fucking universe. It's in another, man. It's like I was saying, it's a different analogy, but I was saying to Jesse, I think the other day, yesterday, I was like, no matter how hard you try and how skilled you get, you cannot look at what's directly behind your head. Like you just can't do it. It's on the other side of your eyeballs. Like you just can't do it. You need a mirror or some assistance or whatever. You cannot look behind. You might sense something, but okay, so you can have a sense that there's a better way of communicating, but it's outside of your awareness. So how are you going to find it? It's like on the other side of the fucking head. You got to turn around. You got to change something. So, you know, as you come along and you gain more responsibility and more accountability, more presence, like with the private moment, you're engaged with game because that's very motivational and it's something special. The time you spend with your girl is going to be a lot more dialogue, and even if it's like sexual, there's like dialogue and all of that, that there's so much calibration and sensitivity. Like you cannot just get a woman to open herself up to any old, like you have to demonstrate so much and be such a good person for her, assuming you're not like using drugs or drinking or whatever to get in her pants. Like there's such a depth of humanity available when you just get one girl, when you get multiple women, like there's a mastery there. And you use all activities in your life to apply your mastery. And you master all areas of your life. And this is part of the straight line here, because you can't have lulls. You can't have weak points, bruises. You can't have things that take you out of your state of mind. You must reorder your life so that you stay high tone. And that's what people don't measure. They mismeasure when they see at a distance AZD with multiple women on YouTube, and they think it's going to be a pickup class, and they join and they see it's just mindset and communication, occasionally with some pickup tips, whatever. You couldn't even call it's more like relationship tips, sometimes pickup tips also. There's a difference. And if they're smart, this is what I was trying to say earlier, if they're smart, they'll see that it's like the right thing. You need to build so much foundation because the pickup tricks are going to destroy your life. You're going to get some fake results on some fake lines and some fake actions that you don't have a life organized to handle the reciprocation and the compliance of the opposite gender. And you'll get some headway. You'll get some things that you're looking for, which is sense gratification, basically. And then it's going to fucking wreck your heart, wreck your life a little bit. And you'll shy away, or you'll bifurcate, which means like you'll split into two, where you have like your pickup mindset and you have the rest of your mindset. And as you get higher and higher level, it's going to be more energy spent in keeping them separate than letting them flow together. But when they flow together, then there's going to be the disorganization of one is the organization of one is disorganization for the other. So what makes an ordered pickup artist doesn't maybe make an organized engineer, if I was going to be an engineer. And what makes an organized engineer, like the lifestyle and habits of an organized real estate agent or whatever, doesn't necessarily make for the best pickup artist. And so you got to integrate the patterns and behaviors. Let's say, so your avatar is fly. You got a fly avatar. So you're ready to pick up a female, no matter what you're, if you're at the job, if you're on the way, if you're going to Starbucks or whatever. So you integrate, you have a kind of business that can pull a woman in, so that while picking up and seducing and hanging out and comfort building with a woman, you can still be about your business. So it's not one or the other. And you interweave those things and you solve the riddle of how do I communicate to get what I want in this situation. You solve the puzzle. Maybe it's not a riddle, the puzzle. And that's the straight line of enlightenment here. AZD has solved the puzzle much further than anybody else for himself. His life is just an example, not one that you're supposed to duplicate, but one that you're supposed to learn from and replicate in ways that fit your life. And so it's hard to compare people and say he's farther on the path of enlightenment here than over here. But there are some measures and we have ranks, and you get into that, and that's a measurement of the evolution here. And integration, IMC, Integrated Mental Concepts, or International Mastermind Council, Integrated Mastermind Council, International Mindset Concept. I don't know, any mix and match of it. And let's see, is there anything else I want to say on it? I mean, guardianship, private moment is this like other thing. So kind of like the Kusei is something different than the guardian, base leader, lieutenant, tribal leader. So guardian, resident, okay, a resident is when you live in a base. You could be a visiting guest resident, like two guys are signing up to do residency here for 3 days. They're paying $3,000 to sleep on the floor here for 3 days. AZD may talk to them, may not, doesn't matter. They'll be here in person. That's all they want. It's just to be on the cycle, be on the process here. And that's visiting residency. Now, permanent residency is someone who lives in a base. So like Jaime is a resident of base 3. To be a guardian of base 3, you must come and do residency at base 1, because we have 2.5 years of organizing around the world's top level player, with women coming through and lectures happening consistently on schedule, with so many lifestyle, being flexible, with going out, with learning, how to maneuver around world-class player. So they got to come here. When they do that, which is $5,000, and it's until they graduate. So they can come for a week, they can come for a month until they graduate. Then they can go home. They can come in multiple times if that's what they need to do. Then they fit some requirements, like they have to stream 5 times a week or whatever. They become guardians of that base. It's a level. It's an actual thing that, man, their evolution is on this kind of evolution. So they, in their ability to handle themselves, in their ability to be responsible and show up consistently, in their ability to navigate around other alpha men that are on this path. It's a very complicated thing, but simple once you get it. It's just complicated relative to what you're used to. It's disorderly relative to what you're used to, but you bring order to it. So you figure it out. And how to stream, how to put yourself out there. A lot of guys don't know how to just show up and put out their ideas. Do you get that I've just been putting out my ideas for like an hour? And I am flattered and honored, I don't know what the right word is, that y'all would lend me your ear for that long. I started off the show just talking about, like, I could talk about anything. I've made it my business to be able to talk about anything in a valuable way. Even just my delivery is valuable. That's what being charismatic is. It's literally a value, because a charismatic person would suggest that person's highly socialized. And if they're socialized, that means they're socially proofed. They're pre-selected by other people that they had value. So if they're charismatic, they must have some value that I'm not seeing. And so that's why I'm entertained by them. That's like the logic of it. And that's what the pickup artist fools the woman by being charismatic, but it's not the real value. It's just the delivery, the sound bites that are charismatic to her and seducing. And the idea of fake it till you make it is just fill your mind with all that stuff until your life and mind does become charismatic and entertaining and valuable. Ultimately, social awareness is a value. That is a survival value. So the pickup artist eventually, he builds his value on this thing that most people are ignorant of. They're ignorant of social cues and IOIs and IODs and like these things that maybe kind of break down human interactions in a way that's a little dry, a little scientific, whatever, but it's pretty comprehensive. And it's like there's only so many moves on the chessboard, but there's infinite games that could be played. So guardian, a base leader is someone that comes and does more intense, more training here, is more accountable to AZD, is responsible for a base, even if it's a base filled with residents or a base filled with guardians. And that's just a higher level rank. You know, you'll see there's a level of difference. If you came and hung out with Will Rios versus you hung out with Alex Palacio, you would see a level of difference. Versus if you hung out with Johnny Freedom Ranger, there's a level of difference. There's something different. And when we say that somebody is ready to do like guardian training, like Jaime, because he's at a level that you're only going to get so far as a fucking resident dude, you got to come and do guardian training because it's going to be a different level of responsibility, of mindset, of cleanliness, of orderliness to your life, cleanliness in the sense of your ethics. It's, you know, responsibility in that. And then base leader, when the base leader gets all of his residents to be guardians, he's a lieutenant. So now he's humming. That base is humming. He's a base leader, and they've all come and stayed residency with AZD and all of us, and they brought order, and they're leading shit. You'll see, no bases have made it to that level. Right now, there's 2 bases that have 2 pending guardians. That's it. And then there's 2 other bases that have 2 pending base leaders. So they're coming up slowly. Meanwhile, base 1 has 2 guardians and a captain, which is above tribal leader. So tribal leader would come from the lieutenant base leader. All of his guardians become base leaders in their own right, and they start their own bases. That man becomes a tribal leader then. And I don't know what makes a captain, but I don't need to read off my TikTok stats again. I think that's a pretty nice, I did that. You know, I led that anyway. Know nothing about TikTok, but I led like 4 million views on TikTok or something. It's pretty cool. You know, I organized the camps. I organized imcbase1.com. Used to be a webpage on ninthlimb.com. It was literally ninthlimb.com/imc something. I forget what it was. It was a webpage. All the boot camp signups used to be on my yoga website. Not on AZD's website. They never were on AZD's website. The first camp, he had it on his website, Arash Tapar also. And they got 2 signups, and I got like 38 or 40 signups because I'm the one with boots on the ground messaging everybody, building lists, keeping in touch with everyone, giving value, sending newsletters every other day or every day with lecture notes, doing podcasts. You know, have you learned anything about IMC on this show today? Good. I don't know what more value I could really give unless there was like dialogue back and forth, or I just started parroting AZD techniques, or maybe really looking at my day and examining my day and teaching more techniques. I did kind of teach the fourth wall technique. If you got that, I mean, that's like an advanced technique. That's like a freebie. I don't know if I'm going to post this podcast. It's like too good. But then, I mean, then what happens to it? Like, it's too good, so nobody gets to see it. It's like, man, I don't know what I'll do with it. All right, are there any feedback or I feel like there's more to say. I guess that's the straight line. I got all the way to the captain, and they say any system, it's difficult to define itself. You need to be outside the system, either one below or one above, but it's hard for a system to really analyze itself. I have a difficulty defining captain. I can define founder and I can define tribal leader, but I don't know about captain. I don't know what that is. It's me. All right. So anything from anybody? I don't know what kind of description I'll write for this show. I kind of went all over the place. Whew, I'm exhausted, guys. I feel like we went on an adventure. Let's see, if I was going to talk to anybody, I could call people out. Alex Vasquez, new guy on Dragon's Lair. Been studying shit. putting it into practice, applying it. Just signed up for camp. First time on a camp, everybody. Alex Vasquez took the plunge. And how's it been, man? This is your first Beast Camp. I think you're in the area, right?
Yeah, I'm near Fullerton, California.
Fullerton, California, Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, where Beast Camp is. Jaime, this guy's your neighbor. Zothes, he's living in Base 3 right now. He's a guest resident there. So this guy, Alex Vasquez, he lives in Fullerton, yo.
Yeah,
Alex Vasquez, meet Zothes and Jaime. They live in an IMC base together. It's called Base 3. They live real close to you.
What up, Alex?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Pretty good. So how
Alex,
you
you just signed up for your first camp, brother. What's and then you guys, I don't know, I guess how to get in touch. I mean, he's on my Instagram. You could find him, or he's in the camp this month. If you want to look him up, Jaime, he's on the camp Telegram, so you can find him. Or if Alex, if you want to find Jaime, nobody wants to be the first guy to go. That's why I'm the captain. I was the guy that went first, and I messaged everybody first and got you signed up. I messaged Sultan and got him on camp. Isn't that right?
It's true, but I made the $25 or $20,000 too. So you gotta give me the credit that I made the money too. Bro, I didn't have any of the money. Remember the money that was supposed to come and didn't
I
come?
give myself the credit for
And then
motivating
and then you
you.
yelled at me on the
I
phone.
motivated you to your deepest survival
You
instincts.
yelled at me. hurt
You
my
probably
feelings.
thought I was going to hunt you down and kill you.
No, but you did make it sound like my relationship with the Rosh was gonna get tarnished,
Yep.
even though it wasn't really my
Man,
fault.
when you say that you're going to show up and then we schedule a whole weekend around your event,
I mean, I didn't
people
know
are
it was
flying
an
in.
accident.
People are flying in. And then you call me and say, I can't make it. Actually, I can't come up with the money. What?
But nobody was flying in though.
Yeah.
Who was?
Who didn't? Me, you, and me and Fernando.
Yeah, who's flying in?
Me and Fernando.
Oh, I mean, weren't you guys in LA or I thought you were in San Jose?
At that time, I lived in Florida.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought you meant like other guys were flying in, like the dudes that.
Potentially. But I think also an Airbnb had been rented.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of all that stuff.
Yeah, so
When
I
you
was.
told me, I was kind of shocked. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. So anyway, I reached out to him. So it's not that you guys are selling each other, but I'm the guy that reaches out. So because I'm introducing Alex, lives right next to Zothes and Jaime, because Zothes lives in Base 3 now.
Zolti lives in Base 3?
Yeah, in Fullerton.
When was this?
So recently.
What?
Yeah,
You didn't even
recently.
say anything about it.
No, you did. Oracle told everybody too.
When?
Recently, like in the last month.
I got here yesterday. So
Yeah, so he took his dad from California to like Houston or something,
Yeah.
dropped him off with his sister or something. Sorry to spill your business or whatever. And then go back, and now he's
Yeah, but I didn't even hear about that. That's
Mhm.
crazy. Okay, that's dope.
and Alex Vasquez, who just signed up for his first camp, who I think he just left. No, he's there on the street. I thought he left. He lives in Fullerton. He's right next to Base 3. So, Alex, how's the camp been for you, brother?
Man, it's been great. Like I told you last time on Instagram, I've been something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And now that I have the opportunity, I feel honored to be here amongst you guys. So thank you very much for having me. And it's been great. I mean, I've been learning so much in these last couple of days. I've been logging every day, and it's just tremendous, man. Compared to what I used to see on the stories, and then when I signed up to, when the whole COVID thing happened, I signed up to Dragon's Lair, and then that was like something I was like, whoa. Now this is like completely 1,000 times different.
What's so different about it?
That I'm seeing AZD going into more in detail of all his techniques, something that I wasn't seeing so much in Dragon's Lair. That's personally been my experience, at least, just noticing those techniques.
And techniques like what are you don't have to like describe the techniques, but like what are some of the results with the techniques that you've seen in your life so far?
It's mostly my mindset, changing my mindset in the way I carry myself. Because before I was trying to pretend that I had the mindset, but now I actually feel like I'm in that character and I'm not pretending. I feel comfortable in my skin, and it's been great.
Man, so what is that character?
Mostly just not worrying about what other people think, growing up, I've always been kind of, I guess, worried about what people thought, not so much insecure, but about what people thought about me. You know what I mean? I always try to look I was worried about what people thought about me. But now it's like, it's not that I don't care, but that I'm just shedding off all those insecurities holding on my whole life.
Right on, right on. Well, Alex, what is it that you do, brother?
So yeah, I am a translator, a Spanish translator.
Oh yeah, man,
That's
he's
right.
a communicator. He's literally a professional communicator for his career.
Correct, yeah.
Translates for doctors.
That is correct. Yeah.
You got the doctor's language. You got that medical language down in 2
Yeah.
languages.
Yeah, in
Jesus
Spanish.
Christ,
That's correct.
that's so interesting. All right, so that's I mean, you can't be a dirty hobo and be a fucking medical translator.
No, not at all, man. You gotta carry yourself sharp.
You got to be sharp and clean and on time and not drunk or high or any of that
Yeah.
shit.
No, man.
Right on. Well, welcome. Thanks for being on Enlightened Masculinity, man. And, you know, hopefully get you connected with base 3. And then a lot of guys for a long time in their life, here's part of the straight line, because we're going to that's I've just been talking about the straight line, which is really funny because I think I barely talked about the straight line. I was off the line the whole time, talking about some other shit the whole time.
But really, you were on the line.
Well, that's what they don't know. So that's
Exactly.
okay.
No, you weren't on the line.
Yeah, I wasn't on. What was I saying? I forgot.
Talking about.
Oh, we were going to add questions or whatever. So, part of the straight line. That's why I actually did mention this. I said come in person to camp. Part of the straight line is not as it's there is a different. There's 2 different parts to that. There's coming to meet AZD, and then there's meeting other IMC guys, and that can happen outside of camps sometimes, like in the bases. There's guys that live in bases. Zay is living around 4 other IMC guys, top guys that have all been in person, but he himself hasn't been in person. I met Johnny Freedom Ranger and Pyro before they had ever met AZD. So they met me first, just in Texas and Florida. So that's kind of part of the straight line. And, you know, so Alex, you have that opportunity to meet base 3. Oracle and Powerhouse are there also. You know, you can meet a lot of big players. They can share a lot of stories with you, man, because it's magic, you know, and everybody levels up when you share these, because when you come and just receive the experience, that's half your nervous system. When you translate it out of you through your expression, that's why podcasting is so vital. Then it integrates your other half of your nervous system, the motor neurons, not just the fucking whatever, the sensory neurons. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just pick up the teachings and listen to the teachings and experience the teachings. You got to give the teachings, and that's basing, and that's podcasting, and, you know, helping your little brother or your father or somebody with this stuff, you know, like I do, which helps. It's great. Oh man, my little cousin, he found Cobra Tate on YouTube, and he's been watching. No, it's great compared to where he's from.
Really?
Yeah, dude, he's on, because Cobra Tate would be on the straight line. He's just before AZD.
No AZD?
Huh?
No AZD for him?
I'm not pushing it.
How was it?
4 years younger than me, but different.
Oh, you're like 19. I was like, oh shit.
Different upbringing. I told Shamir, Shamir when he first came around, kind of reminded me.
Smear.
Yeah, Shamir. So,
Talking about the straight line.
yeah, I don't remember meeting other people. So Alex Vasquez, welcome, and you know, I hope we get to meet you in person here at you know, in camp. You're not able to make it in person this month, are you?
No, not this month, unfortunately. But we'll be looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, this is exciting, guys. We have a sponsor.
Hey, Alex, I'm sorry, Chris. Can you post your phone number here on the chat?
Yeah,
it's all family.
Yeah,
Alex says
I'll
also
text
that he followed Jaime.
perfect. Yeah, I posted it, guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he could for sure. Okay, let's see. I'll just I mean, we have a bunch of interesting characters on right now, you know. I think, you know, there's one guy on that's not on Dragon's Lair, so I think you should get $97 together and use my affiliate link and sign up for Dragon's Lair, so that you can really study and get to know what we're talking about. If you like my streams, you're consistently showing up to my streams, then you gotta get on the line. This is like not even on the line. This is like you showed up to the sidewalk and you're looking at the line, but you're not yet walking it. You're just like looking at it. That's what my free podcast is. So, all right. See you, Alex. So I might end it soon. I've been wanting to end it for like 45 minutes. I just can't seem to bring myself to. So let's see. Arslan, what's up, brother? Arslan from Romania. Where are you at right now? In the United States? Oh, he can't talk. He has to go out of the house, downstairs, out the backyard, across the street where he can find a safe space where he can unmute.
Almost, yeah, that was most, brother. Yes, I'm in Torrance, close to LA, close to base 3, and I'm here.
You're here, right on, right on. So you have a job. How long are you here for in America?
Now I want to be here for good. I'm gonna make, I'm still looking for a place where I can work so they can get my visa right. That's how I'm gonna be here.
And now we see the value of communication skills, and all the best to you, brother. I think if there's a will, there's a way. So you can do it. Just like Sultan came up with $20,000 when he didn't have $20,000. Arslan can come up with a work visa so he could stay in the United States before he didn't have a work visa so he could stay in the United States. So how long do we have until you need to get that?
I'm gonna extend my visitor's visa. I have it till February, so I'm gonna extend that. So then I'm gonna be here, and in the meantime, I'll be working on getting hired somewhere.
How long would the extension go for?
I don't know, not for sure, but the only reason that I'm gonna extending the visa will be so I have time to find the place to work, the attorney says. So that's
All right,
gonna
let's
take
get to
like
it.
90 days.
Yeah, we got
we're
less
on
than 90 days. We got less than 12 weeks right now. So in the time that's gone by that I got 4 million views on TikTok, that's how much time you have to find a job to give yourself a visa. So let's go. Let's go.
Go,
all right.
Go.
Cool. Thank you, Arslan.
Yeah.
All right. And Arslan being from Romania and, working real hard to support his family and help himself and everything, still came up with the money to come in person to camp and drive up here once. He took a 12-hour round trip just to stand in our backyard for 5 minutes, literally. And that's Arslan. So nobody has any excuses except the guys that just left. Just so you know, the guy that left. That was the guy that wasn't signed up. Okay. Is there anything else? Matt Justice, how you doing, bro? You're up real late, Atlanta, 10:30 p.m. You in a talkative mood?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, did you ever listen to that David Goggins ebook or audiobook?
I don't think so.
Remember, I talked to you on the phone and I was like, I'm listening to this guy, Can't Break Me, the David Goggins,
Yes, I remember.
Oh, well, anyway. What's cracking, man? What's going on? How's it going? You're an ATL and you're up on my podcast. I feel blessed and honored that, you're a busy guy,
Doing well, man. In treatment this month. So, just swallowing the rat eradication pills and keeping the course, staying the course, keeping the schedule up.
And the schedule is like with the treatment or whatever? You mean like your work schedule?
Just everything. I go to the hospital every single day, 5 days a week, 3 to 5 hours, sit in an infusion chair, and then try to, handle work shit, stay on top of that, keep everything working.
Dude, you're a beast. You're a beast, dude. So do you read Stoicism?
Not really. I ordered a couple of the books, but I haven't read them.
Yeah. It's a morning daily habit, and are you on any of the AZD process? Do you do any of the attempt to integrate any of the daily routines or anything that he talks about?
I haven't really heard the whole thing. I get bits and pieces of it based on what you guys do. I think it's part of morning ritual from pre-leukemia, but I don't really do any of that right now.
Got you. Do you have a consistent wake up time?
Not right now, no.
Is that possible or not really possible with what's going on?
Yeah, it's possible. I eat late, like at 10 p.m. and I take chemo pills every night, usually actually while you guys are doing lecture. And sometimes I'll sleep extra just to let that burn off.
Yeah. Do you find, is it kind of difficulty? You have to catch the window when you're hungry?
No, I'm trying to wrap the pills in food so it doesn't fuck your stomach up.
Got you. Okay, got you. Yeah, do you take cold showers?
Yeah, I used to. I don't do it right now.
Oh, okay. Any yoga or stretching or exercise?
Yeah, I was doing Bikram yoga, but it's giving me some
Ooh.
trouble. Been going to like I went to a yin yoga class tonight. It's kind of a pussy class, but really relaxing.
I'm familiar with almost all of the yoga styles.
Okay, it was never done it before.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it actually. I
Yeah,
like
but
restorative though. If you ever come across a restorative class. But,
Okay.
that's going to use a lot more pillows and props underneath your joints, and then you just kind of sit on it. It'll help reset you. Yin yoga, it depends on what kind of class it is, but I'm not a fan. But whatever floats your boat. I would do it if there was a good yoga, a good yin class, a good yin teacher. I would hella do it again. Good teachers are hard to come by. So if you have a good teacher, so it's really all about that. If it's a good yoga teacher, like pretty much anything they teach, you'll like.
I thought it was pretty good.
Nice, man. Yeah, Atlanta has some good yoga. I never caught a gig in Atlanta. I called them like 2 or 3 times. All right. So yeah, I mean, cold showers, these things in the morning, you wash your body, you wake up, you have a consistent wake up time as the process. You take a cold shower right away is AZD process. When you live with them, you catch all these other details, like he listens to audiobooks or music or something. You can almost hear him dancing in there. Sometimes he's singing or whatever early, 6 a.m. And, he might be calling some bitch or his girlfriend or something. Voice to text, you'll hear that going on or whatever, but it's cold shower, it's meditation, it's maybe watching Cosmic Disclosure or something Gaia, switching up with reading some books or whatever, or who knows what the fuck he's doing in there. But that's kind of what I'm doing. And definitely get my meditation in. And, it takes, about 2. I also have some imagination exercises that AZD taught us. It's part of the straight line here. So, like creating this or creating that, there's 3 exercises: create it, experience it. I set a timer. I do that, like it's part of it. And then whatever else, little bits, like I like my smoothie in the morning or whatever. And, little voice training or whatnot. So there's a morning process, 2.5 hours. And then there's this transition to like curtains up kind of thing. So now I'm of service to the world. And this is taking us back to the Beast Phase 1 process, which we're about to release the product for it. But the Beast Phase 1 is it's all these disciplines, and then add to it calisthenics, which was very difficult, and specifically focused on Stoic reading and journaling processes that were applied to Stoic teachings that from the books, and also sleeping on the floor with cushions maybe or blankets or whatever, but on the floor, and getting used to that, making that the norm. That's what we've been on the floor for 2 years. And unless I was in like a hotel or traveling, and usually I still stayed on the floor. Hardens you up. And then this concept of curtains up. So you never miss your wake up time. You never miss your curtains up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go all day, you're of service. And that's where you really apply the Stoicism. The morning is just charging you up because the world will fuck you up. And it's hard to be a real practicing Stoic when the world gives you dumb shit. And then you come back, and then there's this concept of lockdown. Lockdown is not when you go to sleep. Lockdown is when it's like curtains up. It's the opposite. It's curtains down. And now you're behind and cleaning up and bringing everything to order and watching your replay. And but it's more than that. It's fun activities, things you enjoy. Like it's essential too. And so the evening is always sandwiched. The sleeping is always sandwiched by the lockdown and the morning process.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in all of the AZD camps and teachings or whatever, he brings out a lot of hey, Sultan, can I ask you something? Can you come out here? Just so that they can hear you. What are some elements of your process that you'd be willing to share? So this is base 1 Guardian Sultan. Like, what are some things about your like daily process that you would think that maybe you learned from AZD or it's so influenced by AZD? It's like it could maybe help someone that if they don't have a process, like their morning process or their lockdown process.
Yeah, I really like it changed a lot You know, there's a lot of elements to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements.
I like stretching while listening to an audiobook.
Stretching while listening to an audiobook.
Man, there's something about that. But I like to do it with the lights dimmed. I dim the LED lights.
Dim the lights.
Because if I'm waking up I wake up about like 5:10, 5:15 every day. And when I get out of the shower, it's still dark. So I have the lights dimmed a little bit. It almost feels like it's nighttime. And then what I want to do, I'm gonna try this. I think it'll make a difference. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook with AirPods on, because usually I just leave the phone somewhere. I'm gonna try it tomorrow with AirPods while I'm stretching. Yeah. And I don't really know how to stretch. I just do these couple stretches that feel really good. And then
reminds me of me, really.
Yeah. It's funny. And then what I like to do is like when I go to the park, I mean, this is still a part of the process.
Is this in the morning, evening, or in the morning?
Or random times, but I mean, when I go to the park in the morning, I like to do this thing where I kind of like just go like this, like I just shake my entire body, just do like crazy movements. And it just feels really good. Like,
okay, so random and improvised movements in nature.
Yeah, like just, breathing in the air, breathing in the fresh morning air.
And that's before curtains up. So that's before that you can leave the house before curtains up. It's just curtains up is when you now are for the world. You're for what you got to get done. And so that's in a nutshell the beasting. That's the process. That's the AZD process. The beasting process is certain imagination. Anything else?
Let's see. There's also I got a prop gun. I like playing with the prop gun.
Likes playing with a prop gun.
Yeah,
I have a real gun.
I'm making a real one too, but I don't want to fucking play with it.
I play with it.
I don't want to fucking like something happen with that shit, and then it's like.
I think about that sometimes. I'm like, Fernando's room is right there. AZD's room is right there.
I guess I'm good because I don't have anybody's room really near me.
Yeah.
Could travel. Yeah, I have a prop Uzi, so I just like we're loading it, unloading, or loading the clip and pointing it at the mirror, like kind of like Marin's private moment.
Is he still on? I think he left.
Yeah. So those are some things, those are some aspects, and singing in the shower is always fun.
Oh, Marin said that he bounced out to help you with the casting poster.
Yeah.
What's a casting poster?
I told him to help me make a flyer for the casting call.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Right on.
So we can advertise it and use that DHV.
Yeah, because I'm going to use that too. I'm going to have my bird do her thing.
Yeah, everyone can post it.
Yeah.
I'll make separate ones. I'm going to make one with my logo, and then I'll make a blank one where everyone can put whatever they want on it.
Nice. Put my Pippin Yogi on there. Okay. Pippin Yogi, one of the guys on camp, one of the new guys, Dylan, he printed the Pippin Yogi and put it as a canvas print in his room.
Oh, that's who it was?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I saw it. I didn't know
he didn't even know that it was my logo. He just thought I posted it because it was cool.
That's funny.
So, yeah, it's nice. I created a piece. I commissioned it to be created. And
Is that by Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really fucking good.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it anymore, he said.
What?
Well, he does it, but not like that way or something. He does it a different way.
He always does whatever AZD asks.
Well, that's true.
And never,
AZD
never wants payment.
Yeah, but if it's somebody else, like some other undesirables.
Yeah, I think a bunch of guys in IMC took advantage of him, didn't
they? They did.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. That's what he's talking about.
Brother.
Brother.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to take you from your task. We're gonna pick up models for the next week. And so if my girls end up listening to this is highly triggering, or we're gonna pick up models and we're gonna give them business. We're gonna give them a lifestyle. We're gonna give them an opportunity to evolve and heal and grow and come around. And the more they come around, of course they get seduced, but they're also gonna be on your social media and admiring you and all that good stuff. And a lot of models, they're not gonna make it up they're not gonna make the cut. They're not gonna measure up. 30 models, one, maybe, probably not. We need 100 models, but we'll have the business and we'll have girls available for parties and entertainment in the pre-selection so that we build off that. It's an illusion, just like everything. Just like your tits are an illusion, your fucking makeup is an illusion, and your shaved legs are an illusion because you're not naturally that hairless. It's all an illusion. And if you're really girly and you're really seduced, you're gonna talk all sweet and seductive and like high pitch. I can't do a girl's voice. That was my attempt of a girl's voice. They're going to talk in a way, and that's an illusion too, because change your attitude and a whole different personality comes out and it's like, whoa, it's like, where did this one come from? Oh, it's an illusion. You're just projecting a mindset. I get it. So I got to lead and control and seduce her mindset so that the part of her comes out that I want. And ethically, if I'm a real player of IMC, I do it in a way that doesn't lower her survival in life. It keeps her survival high. So that would be like through seducing her, teaching her morals and ethics and how to conduct herself and how to handle her environment and how to handle men and how to handle women, and how to handle her parents and how to handle being with you. And so you teach her how to handle life. And in that, you're seducing her. And so your seduction becomes okay. And otherwise, you're just seducing her and giving her no value in life except just pleasure, which I don't, at the highest level of mature woman, she can do that. But no women are mature really like that. So they just get used and they feel duped. And that's where the player or seducer gets a bad rap, because the woman doesn't feel the pleasure anymore once he's gone. That's where the lifestyle seduces her and gives her a certain kind of pleasure that is the pleasure of survival value versus just the pleasure of senses or whatever. So Matt, I didn't mean to stop talking with you, brother. Oh, he just left. Oh man. Darn. Anyway, so that's the process. Everybody, you've been on the stream for a long time. This is the longest podcast in history. Jaime, you're on video, brother. Does that mean you got something to say? You got something to share? No, you're just showing us your pad and your cool lighting and your double beaded necklace and your avatar, your warm Don Aroma smile. That's going to be on all your bottles at the front. We're going to make you the Aunt Jemima of perfume. Cologne.
Done. It's done.
That's right. You're going to be the most interesting man in the world, where you're gonna give yourself an awkward moment just to find out what it's like, because you're the most interesting man in the world. That's kind of what I think of when I think of Don Aroma. All right, everybody. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you on the next stream when we do it. And tomorrow there is no Dragon's Lair. There is only Gathering in the morning and in the evening. There'll be 2 a day tomorrow. So get on the Gathering, imcbase1.com. And it's, mind bending. Jesus, mind bending.